School of Management Studies IGNOU presents an audio book on the course MMPC 001 Management Functions and Organizational Processes. Block 1 Introduction to Management. Unit 1 Management and Overview. Part 1. In this unit, we will discuss meaning and definition of management, nature of management, characteristics of management, management and administration,
Hello learners! In the series of this MBA program, today we are going to take Unit 1, Management and Overview. After studying this unit, you should be able to define management and describe its purpose. You will be able to identify the nature of management, understand the characteristics of management, distinguish between administration and management, understand the influence of management on the organization, analyze the functions of management, and appreciate the challenges of management. Now let's talk about the structure of the Unit 1. We will start with introduction, then we will learn about meaning and definition of management. After this, you will study about nature of management, followed by the characteristics of management. Then comes the concepts of administration and management. After learning about these concepts, we will talk about the importance of management and the functions of management. The unit also explains challenges of management, followed by the summary of what we have learned so far. Now, let's start the unit with introduction. One of the most important activities that all of us engage in is managing. Ever since human life started, either to organize for food or shelter, the elements of management were subtly seen in all these activities. History also confirms the application of management techniques, which are visible even today. The Egyptian pyramids, built centuries ago, are evidence of excellent organizational skills of scores of workers in those times, thus making us believe that a number of management functions were in use long ago. Similarly, Indus Valley civilization also demonstrates the use of management techniques of a higher level of sophistication, considering the time it was built. Further, these instances also show that management has been an inherent part in human survival and organized activity as well. As societies grew, individuals could not achieve their goals individually, and hence their efforts as a group had to be coordinated through the management function. The groups increased in number, thus making the role of the managers critical for success in the contemporary context. Competition is the key driver for individuals and organizations in the current context. Never before the individual had a plethora of opportunities on one hand and the challenging work environment on the other. Thus, competition for the individuals is for the jobs, resources, and rewards, making it mandatory for learning management skills. Similarly, the business landscape has changed remarkably, forcing organizations to compete for contracts, clients, and customers to effectively manage and deliver for retaining the clients and customers so as to gain competitive advantage. This situation kindles our interest to know what is the meaning and definition of management. Now let's talk about meaning and definition of management. It is not an exaggeration to state that everyone is a manager in some measure or the other in our daily lives. People confront different situations or context, forcing them to manage the otherwise messy situations in a planned and organized way so as to achieve the goals. The levels, however, vary depending on the actors and actions. Thus, management could be understood as an activity with a goal accomplishment and results orientation. Since an organization is embedded with groups of people working together towards an objective, management is characterized by the interaction with others in the accomplishment of the task. It is in this context that Mary Parker Follett defined, and I quote, management as the art of getting things done through the efforts of others, unquote. Although this definition relates to the accomplishment of the task and the people dimension, it has been elaborated further by Harold Coons and O'Donnell when they brought the organized group into the definition. According to them, and I quote, management is the process of getting things done through the organized group efforts, unquote. The people dimension has been the focus of Harold Coons when they said, and I quote, management means manage men tactfully, unquote. As the meaning and definition evolved, the focus on the process gained importance. F. W. Taylor defined management, and I quote, as the art of knowing what you want to do in the best and cheapest way, unquote. In spite of various definitions, the dynamic nature of management makes it difficult to have a universally accepted definition encompassing all its dimensions in its entirety. In summary, the essence of management revolves around managing people and other resources in an organization, both internal and external, leading to the achievement of the objectives of the organization. The meaning could be better understood by examining the nature of management. Now let's move on and learn about the nature of management. A debate continued for quite long on what exactly is the nature of management. One school of thought argues that management is a science, which the other school of thought disagrees and views it as an art. Science represents a systematic body of knowledge with underlying principles that have universal application. Scientific procedure depends on reliability and validity based on experimentation and generalization. One of the principles of science is also to explain the cause and effect phenomenon with disciplined imagination. Applying these principles, management over the years has developed certain principles, laws, theories, and generalizations which could be applied universally in a variety of organizations. Luther Gulick argues that management has a body of knowledge with underlying principles and is in the process of being called a science. He also contended that the interrelationship in the business scenario was being scientifically and systematically explained with emerging theories tested and proven and improved by logic and the facts on the ground. Scientific management proposed by F. W. Taylor was termed as scientific management, which is proof enough for the status of a science based on a number of experiments on the human beings on the shop floor using management techniques. As the field does not enjoy the status of an exact science in the nature of pure sciences like physics, chemistry, etc., some argue it as an inexact science. Management deals with human beings, and hence it is difficult to verify and predict the complex human behavior. The dynamic nature of management complicates it all the more in terms of verifiability, reliability, predictability, and generalization. Further, management has to account for the contextual variation, which also makes a difficult point to prove the exactness of a science. However, the scientific procedure, systematic analysis, and methodological rigor used in management research along with advanced tools and techniques provides the field the much needed status to the discipline. Research in the allied areas like mathematics, statistics, psychology have added the scientific fervor to the discipline. In contrast, the other school of management thought argues that management cannot be equated with the logical, sequential, and scientific methodology of basic sciences, and hence views management as an art. George Terry, a management thinker, states that, and I quote, "Management is bringing about desired results through the application of skills." Unquote. Art relates to the application of theories and principles in problem-solving activities. The manager applies his skills and competency built through his experience and exposure coupled with intuition and judgment while discharging the functions of managerial decision-making. Continuous effort and deliberate practice makes the managers successful managers, and they try to develop this art through skillful practice. The creativity and innovation that could be seen in the managerial function could be attributed to the mastery of this art by the managers. While the debate of management as a science or an art still continues, a third group of scholars contend that management could be a combination of both art and science. They argue that managerial activity is a creative art, although it is becoming more scientific in nature. In addition, the theories and practice acknowledge unique characteristics which make it a distinct field. The nature of management could also be understood in terms of its status as a profession. A profession by definition is a certified vocation of individuals that enables applying the basic principles and practices under a certain given code of conduct. Given this definition, effort has been made to consider management as a profession. The criteria for a profession, according to Edgar Sheen, a psychologist, is a codified body of knowledge, a long period of formal education and training, specified criteria for entry, a code of conduct or code of ethics, professional tools and techniques, specialized fields of study, and a professional body or association. These being the criteria to categorize as profession, management over its evolution has created a body of knowledge with underlying principles that could be applied uniformly across a variety of organizations. Most managers also go through a systematically prepared formal education in B school or universities and complete the prescribed training in the course of the managerial functions. In addition, specialist accreditation agencies like NAC or NBC in the Indian context evaluated the progress of teaching and learning institutions across the educational institutions in a country. Moreover, companies insist on ethical behavior demonstrated by a strict code of conduct. All these have instilled professionalism into the managerial function. The Association of Indian Management Schools (AIMS) examines and monitors the theory and practice of management by bringing together the academic institutions, by bringing together the academic institutions as members to deliberate on the status of imparting business education and training in India. On the other hand, IMA, which is the All India Management Association, brings together majorly the practicing managers to discuss and deliberate on the practical issues faced by the managers. The efforts of these agencies, along with the national and global policy, makes management to be considered a profession with managers as professionals offering professional services. Like any other profession, law, accounting, etc., the field of management is slowly but surely attaining the status of a profession. In addition to the various perspectives put forward by different schools of thought, the nature of management could also be understood through a variety of characteristics that the field demonstrates. Characteristics of management. The characteristics of management are discussed in detail in this section. Management is characterized by a few elements. These elements are: number 1. Management is a group activity. Since the organization reflects the social dimension where individuals interact with each other in getting things done, individual efforts alone doesn't guarantee results. Moreover, management cannot be done in isolation and hence it includes group activity. Management is thus seen as integrating individual efforts through organized group activity. Number 2. Management is universal in its application. Management applies to government, business enterprises, educational institutions, military, medical and non-governmental organizations in equal measures. The principles of management suggested by the German industrial psychologist Henry Fayol are considered as guiding principles, which could be adapted to specific organizational context. Number 3. Management is a continuous activity. Management is dynamic in nature and hence it is continuous. The ever-changing organizational activity provides continuity to management functions. Number 4. Management as an integrated effort. The process of management integrates the human and other resources in the achievement of the objectives of the organization. In the process, the individual goals and the organizational goals get aligned for effective functioning of the organization. Number 5. Management as a well-defined process. Management is considered unique because of the well-defined and clear-cut process of getting things done through the various functions of management. Number 6. Management is objective-driven and result-oriented. Organizations have clearly marked objectives and goals, the accomplishment of which is systematically driven by the management function. Number 7. Management as a set of roles and skills. It refers to an individual or a group of individuals who are actively involved in managerial function. The individuals are designated as managers and the group as management. The managers are expected to learn the managerial skills to perform their managerial roles effectively. Number 8. Management as a function. The management process is characterized by the functions that the manager performs. They are planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, controlling, and budgeting. And number 9. Management as a discipline. Management as a discipline refers to a body of knowledge with unique pedagogical tools as taught in various educational institutions to impart the basic concepts and principles relating to the practice of management. Its importance is demonstrated by the glut on the growth of B schools across the globe and in India, and the way it enjoys a prominent place in popular perception. Management and administration. Management and administration are used interchangeably in most discourses, although they differ significantly in meaning and focus. Administration and management are represented by two groups, one led by British school of thought and other led by American researchers. The British scholars argue that management is much wider compared to administration and usually related to the top management. They contend that administration relates to carrying out the activities at the operational level. Scholars like Orway Teed, William Sprigle, supporting the American school, advocate that administration is the thinking function and management is the implementing function. The role of administration, according to them, is policy formulation, while the managers implement the policy and get involved in the day-to-day operations. The British school of thought argues that management is superior to administration. The focus of administration is on the immediate problems, while the management focus is on the long-term objectives. They maintain that management involves itself in the rule-making or rule-enforcing, while administration engages itself with the situation on hand. According to them, management is a comprehensive concept and administration is a part of it. However, the contemporary thinking equates management and administration. Keith Davis is a supporter of this thinking. According to him, management process is essentially the same in all the organizations, and hence the management and administration have to essentially go through the same process, and hence they remain the same. Harold Kuhns also maintained the same stand by observing that any distinction made between the two will be a misleading exercise. These observations by the modern thinkers have drawn a line between the two, making them distinct and unique. So learners, that was the difference between management and administration.
You were listening to an audiobook by School of Management Studies IGNOU for the MBA program. Course code MMPC 001, Management Functions and Organizational Processes, Block 1, Unit 1, Part 1. Course Coordinator, Professor Neeti Agarwal, SOMS, IGNOU. Voiceover by Harpreet Kaur. Edited by Tarannum Jahan. Program assisted by Jagbandhu Jana and produced by Manoj Kumar Singh. This program was brought to you by Electronic Media Production Center of Indira Gandhi National Open University.